This episode is sponsored by VOinbox.com, the only full-service marketing tool for established professional voice actors.
Hey, VO Life people. How are you? Troy Holden here at the VO Life Podcast. Today we are talking about time wasters. What are the time wasters? Could be listening to this. What could you be doing other than spending 15, 20 minutes here? Could you have sent X number of emails, found X number of new contacts, reached out to some people? What? Or is this one of those things you pop earbuds in while you're out walking and it just helps you pass the time? Time wasters can be different things to different people, and I just want to quickly talk about today the different things that I have just been researching on my own to try to eliminate out of my schedule or try to do things better or not waste as much time on. And let me start with the rabbit hole of death, TikTok, for me some days. I enjoy making the TikTok videos. What I have learned to do is not to sit and watch a lot of TikTok videos. I just don't anymore. I used to watch more, but and I'm going to even make less because there is no benefit to my business. It's just a creative outlet thing for me, and it's something I do. As my phone reminds me sometime, you spent X number of hours on your device, per day. I realize that a lot of that is answering business emails and et cetera. But I also realize a lot of that is, rabbit hole browsing. And I really want to put an end to that. It is a waste. Going up another step, whether it's Instagram, Facebook, whatever, wherever you might do that. I do want to put more time into LinkedIn as far as my time researching people, and you'll notice LinkedIn will suggest other contacts sometimes. And then what I have to be careful of is I didn't save that one. I didn't write this down. And I go look at another one, and I'm like, crap, I'm 4 deep. Now I can't get back where I was. I just want to do a better job of spending some time in LinkedIn, understanding it a little bit better, maybe taking Tracy Lindley's course. I don't know. Probably down the road, I want to do that because there may be things I'm missing. And really, one nugget out of something like that's worth it. I did book a job this past week where someone had heard my documentary demo on LinkedIn and then went to voices.com and search me there, although all my contact info was on LinkedIn. But they went to voices.com, sent me a private audition. I was the only person they sent it to, booked me for the job. And, but still, it's a win, right? And that's really neat. That tells me that can work, but it would be my bet you're not going to directly book off there a lot. But the more content you can put on there that's relevant to your business and the more hashtags you're putting on there to reach the right groups of people, yes, I do think you could. I think it's time well spent. So let me revert all that over to this podcast. Is this podcast a time suck or a waste of time, or does it matter? I think it does matter. Is the repetitiveness as important as it was in the front end, as I was learning and things were changing and whatever, because now I feel like people are probably thinking he's just going to get on there and ramble for 10 or 15 minutes. It's the same old thing. And he's going to talk about how his direct marketing works and, how, there's conferences coming up and this, and the types of work he's been doing or whatever. And, you're pretty much right. There's not, 100,000 different subjects in voiceover you can talk about. So I'm certain that this could get monotonous and boring and et cetera. And so my realization that I came to as I did this was I'm going to wait until there is something to talk about. Whether it's a change in a trend or something's going on in the industry or whatever. I don't think it's the amount of content you put out. It's the amount of good content you put out when it comes to things like this. And you can almost go back on these other 160 plus episodes and find 2 to 3 podcasts on certain subjects where the point of view may have changed, or my opinion may have changed, or my belief may have changed, and you can work your way through that kind of stuff by searching through. But there's no use in me regurgitating the same stuff over and over and over. So therefore, I'm hoping we will have some guests on, and guests that other people aren't having on, people you may not even know or whatever, to talk more about the business and their business and how they grew their business, versus it just being the same old stuff every few weeks. Because it does get old. And how many voiceover podcasts do we need? That's one of the reasons we stopped another VO podcast. We felt we ran the gamut of what we needed to cover. And then career changes happened for most of us in the group. Some too busy to make time to do a podcast. Others picking up a different job, another part-time job. And, it got cumbersome and hard for us to schedule a time and all four of us stick to it. And, I don't have that problem with this. It's more on me when I can get in here and do it. And then here I'm launching another podcast that is totally not about voiceover. And that, I think, is going to give some creative opportunity to me to where I can look forward to doing that versus thinking, well, let's go make a TikTok video or let's do this or that. I think I'm going to look forward to that. It's more of a conversational thing, talking about odd subjects and, things that don't matter. I'm sure we'll mention voiceover here and there. How could we not? But the plan is to really stay off that topic as much as possible. So let me ask you this. What if you did stop all of the social media stuff? What would the effect be on your business, and how much time would you gain back? I wonder that sometimes. And, I've also been watching my personal Facebook page. I get way more activity and response there than I do in the VO Life page. I'm also learning that I'm probably not going to offer up any more little $20, $25 workshops or lunches or anything. People just don't sign up and come anymore. There's not the influx of newer people that we had a year ago and 2 years ago, where people wanted that information and needed it. A lot of them now just send me a message or an email and ask a couple of questions versus, hey, come to one of these things where we've got an hour to discuss and you can hear from me and other people. So, yeah, I think that's going to be done. I'll continue to offer the business consults through my website if somebody wants to book 30 minutes or an hour, which those can be really, really good for people who feel stuck. But for a brand new person, that may not be what they'd want to do. There were some questions put on a Facebook page this week related to coaches and wanting some horror stories or success stories or whichever. And it made me reflect back on how it's changed when I first started, the type of coaching I looked for and what I was trying to achieve. And then what it dawned on me, that was stupidly wrong. You should have been doing this. And you start getting with the right people and doing the right things, and then your business will really make a change. But it's still a wonder to me if a lot of people are still trying to go that wrong route. And I'm so far detached from it now, I don't know. It's funny how as your career changes and evolves and your place in the business changes, I couldn't tell you how many people are going through such and such as coaching, and how many are on his Facebook page, and how many really are believing that you can come through and build a career based on this, which some of us did that back in the just as the pandemic happened. But, I think those days are over, and I've said that a lot. But I wonder if it's still being pushed and taught, and how many people are paying for that. And one last thing related to all of the social media stuff I was talking about as far as pulling back and would it really affect anything, yada, yada. If you are putting more time into your direct marketing, email marketing, you're putting more time into making sure you follow up and making sure you actually do the work. Don't just go buy a program and not do the work. If I could sell you motivation and inspiration, I'm telling you, I think I could definitely get rich. I could just say, here, drink this, and then every day you'll go out and work your tail off to make this work. But I can't do that. I can only inspire you through saying, if, and only if, you hustle and do the work, will this happen? It will not happen if you put a big 3,000 contact thing into your Nimble or your whatever CRM you're using, and you send out an email, so many a day, and a few weeks later you're going, nobody's responding, and you stop. Or somebody maybe does respond and you forget to reach back out, or you don't really have it scheduled to do some automatic follow-ups for you. If you're not doing that work, it's not going to happen. Nothing comes from nothing. If you're doing nothing, well, then nothing will happen. If you're doing a little, then a little will happen. But if you're really doing a lot and you're working hard at it, the return will be way greater. That's just what it is. All right, circling back to that time waste and what you're doing, not doing, etc. Also keep in mind that everything you put out there lasts forever. And remember that things you put out 10 years ago, if you had a Facebook page back then or whatever you were doing back then, it's still there. If somebody digs deep enough, it's all still out there. Keep all that in mind, because the type of person you are and who you are may not match what is in a post from 10 years ago. You could have responded to something in anger, or you could have done this out of spite or whatever. And I'm not blaming people for that. We all probably have done it, but just keep all that in mind as you go through your daily stuff and you want to respond to something or post about something, that there could be somebody in the business following you or looking at you and watching you, and then all of a sudden you do that and they go, unfollow, and they're done with you. It happens all the time, whether it's just a VO friend, whether it's an agency or a casting agent or a client. Just be very careful with all that. Try to be smart about what you're putting out there. It makes a difference. Well, reflections. I thought I was going to have a bigger thing to talk about today, but I worked my way through it in the last 48 hours, and I said, no, it's not time yet. I'm not ready to. There's things that I probably should let go and I should maybe stop doing, but I'm not 100% there yet. The big thing for me lately has been dropping a handful of clients I've had for a while that just were coming in way too cheap. And I worried about it the last several weeks. And then after I did it, I had about 4 or 5 days of almost silence, radio silence, basically. I was not doing well on my short list. I was not landing jobs on the casting sites like I normally do, and I wasn't getting anything in my inbox. And I thought, man, is karma going to get me? Did I mess up? Should I have not done this? And then on Thursday of that second week, I got bombed. Literally, and you guys know how this is, feast or famine sometimes in this industry. I had a ton of stuff come in, and I had some new inquiries. I had that person that hired me going through LinkedIn into voices.com. I had a regular client I hadn't heard from in 2 or 3 weeks, sent me about triple what they usually send me. So, I think it's just the cycle, and it's hard to trust the cycle, but you have to. And it is what it is. You just got to do it. And does it get easier if you're new at this? Yes, it does get easier. You get a lot better at sending off auditions and letting it go. Every now and then you'll get attached to one because you just really feel like that was written for me. If I screw this up and I don't book this, something's wrong. Happens to me every day. I can get in 6. They want Southern, they want it a little deep, they want it older sounding, blah, 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 like folksy, very storytelling. And I'll go into it, read it, and when I get done with it, I'm like, man, that's good. I got to save that, like I'm going to be able to use it for something else. But it's good reference. I can go back and listen to it and say, that's how you tell a story. And I'll send that off, and 4, 5, 6 days later, I thought, I didn't hear back from that. I wonder what happened. And I'll go in and look, and if it's online casting, They didn't even give it a thumbs up. That, it wasn't, apparently wasn't that good. But you think, man, that was right in my wheelhouse. And then the funny part is, maybe the next day you book something that was nowhere near in your wheelhouse. And you're just surprised at it because you thought, well, I knew when I sent that in, I probably didn't even have a chance. And they got, 175 auditions and you got picked. You just never know. You just never know because you either catch them unexpected and they go, oh, we didn't think about that type read or that. I like it. What do you guys think? It happens all the time. They don't know what they want till they get it. And so, yeah, sometimes you take those chances. But all of that to say this, I got through those cycles. I got through the issues the last couple of weeks. I was on the bottom for a few days. I just felt bad. I felt like, like we all do a lot of times, imposter syndrome. Did I just have a lucky run again in January and February? I mean, what's going on? And half of March was good, and then for about a week it was crappy. But guess what? It's voiceover. It's voice acting. It's how it is. You're on top of the world for a little while, and then you're down in the bottom, and then you're climbing your way back up, and you're back on top of the world for a minute. And, not saying literally that you're so great, you're on top of the world. I'm just saying your attitude. All I can do is encourage you to keep that attitude up there on top of the world. Quit worrying so much. Quit hanging on to every audition. Quit going back and checking all those short lists. Sure, it's okay to do it now and then, but don't make it where it's like every hour you're looking to see if anything moved. Don't do that. If you're that down, get the heck away from it. Go outside, go ride a bike, go get in your car or leave, go shop, get your groceries, do something, but don't sit and wallow in the down times. You got to get up and get moving. And I think that's where I was coming into this podcast thinking, well, I'll just stop this and I'll stop that and blah, blah, blah. You can't remove yourself from society just because your business slows down. What you can do is find ways to keep your attitude pumped up. Do something that makes you happy, makes you feel good, that gives you inspiration. For me during the week, it's just the fact that my wife and I get to sit down at night and we eat a meal sitting in our love seat recliners with our dogs in there on the floor wishing they had our meal. And we watch TV. We got certain things we watch certain nights because of streaming and when it comes back out, and that's what we do. And there's comedy mixed in there. There's drama. There's, FBI shows. There's, whatever. And I look forward to that. So during the day, I've got that to look forward to at night during the week. And then weekends are a little different when she works, but still, find things you can look forward to and focus on that things that make you happy and what makes you happy. If it's getting out for a walk, if it's going out and playing with your dogs, going out to the barn and rubbing on a horse, taking a ride in the car, motorcycle ride, whatever you got, whatever you do, don't drown yourself sitting and waiting for something to change or happen, because sure enough, if you'll leave, something usually will happen. I had a busy week going to a dentist and getting that final iron infusion. And every time I was gone for about 3 hours, when I would get back home, I had work to do, and that's usually a lot of times when you just walk away and let it go, that's when it comes. Well, let's wrap it up because, like I said, I don't want to waste any more of your time. We're wasting enough time doing all these things we shouldn't be doing. But I do appreciate you hanging around with me and listening and hanging around for all these 169 episodes. Hopefully next week I will be bringing Jake and Charles on. We'll take a look at what they've been doing, and we'll hang out and cut up, talk a little bit about VO Atlanta because Charles is the only one that went this year. Out of the last 4 years, this was the first year that I had missed and that he and I would have been there together. 4th year, and we've been roomies 2 out of those 3, and everybody remembers the incident last year, so, maybe it was karma. I didn't need to go and sleepwalk again. But anyway, look forward to seeing everybody at OVC coming up in August. I know everybody's trying to get their award nominations in right now, and I bet they're going to have a lot of them this year. It's going to be very competitive, but that's what makes it good. If you go in there and get nominated against a lot of really good people, be proud of it. I was very proud last year. Would have been great to walk away with a statue, but didn't happen. That's okay. I was nominated, and it really gave me a boost, a mental boost, and that's something we need now and then. That's what we've been talking about today. All right, keep going. This is Troy. See you next time here on the VO Life.
This has been the VO Life with Troy Holden on Spotify, Apple, Google, and more.